sahor, formless, confusion, unreality, emptiness, formless, that which is empty or unreal, wasteland, wilderness, place of chaos, vanity. In other words, if you happen to go to America after the missiles drop, after the smoke clears, it's going to be nothing but a vast desert. Like if you wanted to get something to eat and you were looking for a restaurant or you're looking for a hotel to stay in, you're asked out. It says, so I'm back in Isaiah 34 verse 11. I'm in the middle of verse 11. And he shall stretch out upon it the line of confusion and the stones of emptiness. They shall call the nobles thereof to the kingdom. This is basically poetic meaning if there was a kingdom, if they call for the nobles will not show up because there's nobody that's going to be there. It said, but none shall be there, and all her princes shall be nothing. And thorns shall come up in her places, as nettles and brambles in the fortresses thereof, and it shall be an habitation of dragons, meaning desert-like creatures, and a court for owls. The wild beasts of the desert shall also meet with the wild beasts of the island, and the citri or sitir shall cry to his fellow. The screech owl also shall rest there and find for herself a place of rest, because birds migrate, so they're going to come from one island, they're going to come to America, they're going to rest there, they're going to eat whatever dead animals are there, then they're going to keep going on their journey. It says, there shall the great owl make a nest and lie and hatch and gather under her a shadow. There shall the vultures also be gathered, everyone with her mate. So that's what's meant by Revelation 18 verse 2. And he cried mightily with a strong voice, saying, Babylon the great is fallen, and become the habitation of devils. So this is after the fact. Now what I'm going to do real quick is just do a word search on the word Babylon. Now the first scripture that popped up on the blue letter is 2 Kings 17 verse 24, which is referring to ancient Babylon. Yeah, Babylon is mentioned in 2 Kings quite a bit. Now what I'm looking for is Jeremiah Jeremiah 50 verse 1, the word that Yahweh spake against Babylon and against the land of Chaldees by Jeremiah the prophet, which the Lord did speak against ancient Babylon, but it's referring to the new Babylon, which is America. Second verse, Jeremiah 50 verse 2, declare ye among the nations and publish and set up a standard, and that's our job, publish and conceal not, say Babylon is taken, Bel is confounded, which Babylon is America. Merodach is, and even scholars know about this, even Edomite scholars know that this is not talking about ancient Babylon. Her idols are confounded, her images are broken in pieces from the missiles. It jumps down to the 8th verse, Jeremiah 50 verse 8. Remove out of the midst of Babylon and go forth out of the land of the Chaldeans and be as the goats before the flock. So we're going to have to be beamed up. The elect will have to be beamed up and go, and we're going to be up in the heavens, and then we're going to come down, from the heavens, and then we're going to take over the whole world. That's going to be the change of worlds. Ninth verse, for lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of nations. Now, ancient Babylon, there was not an assembly of nations that came against Babylon. There was a surgical strike there was an actual general that did that received the order from Darius, the king of the Medes. It says, of great nations from the north country. And that's talking about Russia, how Russia, the former Soviet Union, those separate countries shall come back together along with other countries, and they're going to shoot at her. The scriptures say something to the effect of spare no arrows. So any nation or military that possesses missiles, they're going to shoot it on this place. So it's going to be overkill. And they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken. Their arrows, which are the missiles, shall be as of a mighty expert man. None shall return in vain. Now when you go to Joel, the 2nd chapter, and you read from the 1st verse on down, it seems like it's talking about men marching to take down something. Well, those are talking about missiles. What Joel saw is the same thing that Jeremiah saw, with the same thing that Isaiah saw, the same thing that John on the Isle of Patmos saw. Jump down to the 13th verse. Because of the wrath of the Yahweh, it shall not be inhabited, because it's going to become a desert, but it shall be wholly desolate, become a desert. Everyone that goeth by Babylon shall be astonished and hiss at all her plagues. So I'm not going to go into every precept that mentions Babylon in Jeremiah 50, but you can read Jeremiah 50 to Jeremiah 51. Then in that list it mentions Jeremiah 14 verse 8, Revelation 14 verse 8, and there followed another angel saying, Babylon is fallen, the great city, because she made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. They went to bed with her. They set up a democratic form of government because of Babylon the Great. And this has nothing to do with the Vatican City. Revelation 16 verse 19, and the great city was divided into 3 parts, which is Amerikkka, and 3 parts represent the sons of men, the sons of the Most High, and the sons of the wicked. And the cities of the nation fell, and great Babylon came into remembrance before the Most High, to give unto her the cup of the wine of her fierceness of his wrath. Wow, Babylon is not mentioned in chapter 19, chapter 20, chapter 21, and chapter 22. It's mostly, for the most part, mentioned in Or it's in Revelation 14. We read that. Matter of fact, let me go to that. I'm sorry. Revelation. It's mentioned in Revelation 14, the 14th chapter, Revelation 16th chapter, Revelation 17th chapter. But for the most part, it's mentioned in Revelation, the 18th chapter. Well, it's actually mentioned 3 times. Revelation 18, verse 10, standing afar off for the fear of a torment, saying, Alas, alas, that great city Babylon, that mighty city, for in 1 hour is thy kingdom, is thy judgment come. And a mighty angel looked up, took up a stone like a great millstone and cast it into the sea, saying, Thus with violence shall that great city Babylon be thrown down, and shall be found no more at all. The complete and utter destruction of Babylon the Great, which is America. And this place is going down. And I believe that's why they took down our video. We did it live Saturday, and they just completely took it down. But we were kind of going in on how this system is going to go down. You know, when you coming straight with this word on these devils, they don't want this word to come out. They're trying to stop this word. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom.
So is it true that the creed burned your eye out because you refused to give them the Tesseract?